Hi, this is Ursula. Today we're learning how do we write and name the ionic compounds. Basically, there are two simple steps for writing ionic formulas. First, we will know the symbol of each element and the charge of each ion. Step 2 will balance the charge by using subscript, crisscross, or even calculation will both work. On the other side, naming ionic compounds will be more simple as long as you have the name of the metal, the name of the non-metal. Also, always remember, for naming the ionic compounds, we will always place IDE for all the non-metals ion. First, let's talk about how to write chemical for ionic compounds. What it means is we use the chemical name of a compound to write a formula of it. Well, let's get into our first example. Magnesium nitrate. For writing it as a formula, we'll want to first know where the elements were on the periodic table. Yeah, so what's the symbol and the charge of magnesium and nitrate? On the periodic table, we can see the symbol of magnesium is Mg, which have a positive 2 charge. And for nitrate, we will want polyatomic ions charge to determine it very clearly and easily. Nitrate, it's a NO3 with a negative charge. Okay. So as we get the symbol and the charge, for the step 1, we want to go to the step 2 to balance the charges. So the charge of magnesium will be placed down beside nitrogen, and the charge of nitrogen will be placed down right to the magnesium, and we'll get rid of the plus and minus signs. Finally, MgNO3 2 will be the writing formula of magnesium nitrate. Okay, for ion 3 oxide is our second example. So same, we'll find the symbol. Fe and O stands for ion and oxide. Oxidize is another word for oxygen since we place the IDE for all the non-metals. Here, we look at the Roman numerals. It is a 3, which means ion in here has a charge of positive 3. And for oxygen here, we see it's a negative 2 charge. As long as we get the symbol and the charge, we want to cross them with this crisscross method to balance the charge. We place the charge of Fe to oxygen and the charge of oxygen to Fe, then get rid of the plus and minus signs. So this is our formula. Fe2O3 will be the writing formula of ion 3 oxide. Here's our last example. To write zinc phosphide, same. Know the symbol. Zinc is the symbol of Zn and has a positive 2 charge. Phosphorus is symbol of P and has a negative 3 charge right here on the periodic table, and we want to balance the charge. Same as the examples before. So last we got Zn3P2 for zinc phosphide in writing formulas. Okay, after we learn how to write the formula, now we want to learn how to name the ionic compounds. Okay, naming ionic compounds means that we use chemical formula to write a chemical name of it. KCl will be our first example. To write the name for KCl, we use the rule right up here. First, we name the metal, we name the non-metal, and yes, we place the IDE stuff. Here we can use this chart to help. K stands for potassium, Cl stands for chlorine right here, and we'll place IDE for all the non-metals right here, so chlorine will be chloride. Okay, just to make a quick check, potassium here has a plus charge, chlorine here has a negative charge, so they're bound together to form an ionic compound. So potassium chloride will be our name for KCl. So this is our second example. CO3 and 2. To write the name for CO3 and 2, we first name the metal and non-metal. CO is cobalt, N is nitrogen, and also yes, we always place IDE for all the non-metals ions right here, so nitrogen will be nitride. After this, we know that CO is a transition metal right between here, so we would not know the charge for CO, but we'll go with the nitrogen first. It has a charge of negative 3. Here, CO will be represented by X, and multiplying 3 since it is CO3, and N has a negative 3 charge, and multiply 2 since it's N2. Last, we got the charge positive 2 for CO. Yes, so we write the charge in our Roman numerals for all the naming ionic compounds. So cobalt 2 nitrate will be the name for CO3 and 2. Okay, to our final example. To write the name for Na2CO3, the metal for Na is sodium, and sodium has a positive charge. Okay, and it's 2 sodium, so we multiply by 2 and we get a positive 2 charge for sodium. So now we want to deal with the charge between this compound. So we will want to bond them together to get an ionic compound, which get a sum of 0. So very clearly, CO will be this, and it will have a charge of -2. CO3 -2. -2 is the charge for CO3 in here. So let's look CO3 2 minus. It's the name for carbonate. Very clearly, sodium carbonate is the name for Na2CO3 in this question. So these are the naming and the writing ionic formulas and compounds we learned today. Enjoy.